An accident on East Main Street in Salisbury that's going to be on East Main Street, east of Priscilla Street. That's the stretch of Main Street that's a little north of Salisbury Parkway, old business Route 50. So East Main Street there with an accident. Bypass, we're good. 13 up to Delmar, 13 down to Pocomoke, all right. Route 50 and 90 in and out of Ocean City, good. 589 good through Ocean Pines. That's your traffic for the Voice Radio Network.
Michael Berryman.
Yes, good morning.
Hey, good morning. It's Bill and Jessica, Power 1017. How are you?
Doing great. Woke up and everything worked and I didn't fall down. So I'm calling it a win.
Right. I like it.
Living the dream.
Look, let me tell you something. I was going through your list of movies that you've worked on and done. I was going through your list of, TV appearances, whatever, shows you've been on. And I was looking at even music videos. I mean, your career is probably, with this list, probably the most successful I've ever seen. Probably you've done more than I've ever interviewed.
Well, life can be very strange on occasion.
Yes. Well, talk to us a little bit about your career, how you got started, how you got into these horror films. Most of them are all horror, sci-fi. You're definitely playing these crazy characters on all your movies and appearances. Talk to us about it.
Sure. Well, action, horror, adventure is all fun. But I was basically, after I left college, I helped a friend rebuild a house that had burnt down in Washington State. It was a two-story log home. When I got done with that, I went back to Venice Beach, my hometown, Santa Monica, and I met George Powell. He actually walked into a little shop I was in, and he said, "You have an interesting face. Are you an actor?" And I go, "No, man, I'm not." And then I was introduced that he was the father of the owner of the shop, whom we knew. He handed me a card that said Warner Brothers, and he said, "I'm doing a movie called Doc Savage, and your face is the look I need for the coroner. Would you be interested?" And I said, "Well, I've never done any acting, but sure, I'll take you up on it." He says, "Good, I'll get you a Screen Actors Guild card, and you'll wind up with a couple $100 in your pocket. And if anybody ever asks you if this turns into a career, tell them that George Powell discovered you."
Wow.
So I'm doing a wink and a nod to my buddy upstairs, to George Powell, who gave me one of the best breaks of my entire life, because his casting director, whom I had never met, called me up a month after I worked one day for George and said, "Would you come down to Corver Studios and meet Jack Nicholson, Michael Douglas, Milos Forman, Saul Zaentz, Joel Douglas, and we're doing Cuckoo's Nest, and you have a skull that has fissures in it, like you've had skull surgery, and we think you'd make a good-looking, a perfect person that has no lines, and he's a lobotomy patient." And I said, "Well, my dad was a brain surgeon." They said, "Let's continue this conversation at the meeting." We did. I worked 127 days, 6 days a week in Oregon, learned my craft. I studied cinematography. Everybody was wonderful. I had a million questions, and I got really honest answers from some of the best people in the industry. And after that, I bumped into Peter Locke, Barry Kahn, and the one and only Wes Craven, and we did The Hills Have Eyes.
All because you were in that shop in Venice Beach.
That's right.
Wow, that's an amazing story.
Well, here's a little kicker. In my memoir, It's All Good, I explained the backstory of how I wound up coming home. I left the day I flew back to California. My friend who took me to the airport in Washington State got a letter in the mail from the Social Security Department, because I had filed for Social Security disability because of my birth defects. I had lost a lot of work because of various issues. And had I stayed one extra day, I never would have gotten to meet George Powell, because there was a check for a couple $100 in there, and it followed me to California, and then I went in and met, took that money to live on. I was living in the street, actually, in my car. And then I met George, did Cuckoo's Nest, and then we did The Hills Have Eyes. So it's interesting how things happen.
Yeah.
Sometimes you just have to
No,
Wait for the
absolutely, absolutely. I mean, that's just an amazing story. I love hearing stories like that. Like you didn't go and like wait in line and try out for all these different things. It's you bumped
Never.
into somebody, they gave you a business card and said,
Never.
"Call me."
Oh, I waited in a lot of lines for casting calls over the first 10 years or so, 10 or 12 years. Yeah, auditions, 100 actors.
Yeah,
Only
Right.
one gets the part.
right.
So if you're in Kansas and you got those sparkly eyes and that dream of being in Hollywood, think it through.
Yeah, no, absolutely. You got a lot of hustling.
60% of our union are unemployed 100% of the time. 5 to 10% make 90% of the revenue.
Well, out of all the films you've done and been in and been part of, and then out of all the TV you've done, X-Files, Conan, Star Trek, Conspiracy, Alf, Highway to Heaven, I mean, just to name a few, what is your favorite? You like doing TV or you like doing movies?
Oh, well, I like both. I like features because you have more time to chew on the meat on the bone, so to speak.
Okay.
For television, you have to really do your homework and create your character. We don't have, unless you're a star lead in a series and you're working all the time. And you have meetings, and you can work on developing your character. When you get a guest appearance role on a project for television, it's usually you get the final script a week and a half before you shoot. You don't have any practice sessions. You're not doing any read-throughs. You just have to kind of hope and create and hope and trust your director, and it shoots fast, so you have to be really talented and be able to immerse yourself deeply with, as Bruce Lee would say, emotional content. It's
Right.
very helpful. And then also getting to know what a camera does is really important. Milos gave me a book on cinematography when I did Cuckoo's Nest. He let me look through the Panavision camera. I started to understand the what and the wherefore and the why. And when you see somebody in a wide shot, and then there's a close-up, and then there's a close-up of the other actors, those close-ups could be hours separated in reality when they filmed them. So how the actor stays in the moment, in the emotional zone for the other person's close-up, it's a lot of effort, and it really is a skill set that I found quite amazing and intriguing. And I have a minor in art history from the University of California, but my point is there's the mechanics, and then there's the emotional aspect to the character, and then there's the visual.
Right.
And sometimes you have action added to that, and every actor should know what it's like to be a camera operator. It might point to an f-stop. Every actor should know what an f-stop is. Every actor should know how to hit their marks, because those are focus points. There's so much to it. And then you have the performance part. So I just started to devour the menu that was presented to the banquet of a film and television career, thanks to George Powell. And it's been I'm always learning. I'm always learning. And you meet friends for life. Like I'm going to see my good friend Vernon Wells and some of the other actors from Weird Science this weekend in Kentucky.
That's great.
I'm doing my last show. So there you go.
Well, look, real quick, your autobiography, it's all good, currently out. Also, you got a film coming up, How the Night Receives Them. You got lots of horror conventions all across the country. You're going to be traveling a lot, of course, fully vaccinated. And, you have always have your classics, man, since the 70s and 80s. I love them. Hey, Michael Berryman, thank you so much for checking in.
Amazing.
Happy Halloween. We love all your films.
Happy Halloween.
Yeah,
brother.
appreciate you checking in.
Be safe. Take care of one another. Life is good.
Want 500